bringing us some holiday spirit and what people will be seeing in the Naughty Nine.
The Naughty Nine, it's a new Disney heist movie. It's a very exciting full of action and adventure. And the story starts when Andy wakes up and finds no gift from Santa under the tree. So he's like, and figures out that he's on the naughty list. So he decides to recruit other naughty listers to go to the North Pole and steal the presents they think they deserve. And in doing so, it's going to be an action adventure full of heart and set pieces and Santa's village like you never seen before.
How did you know that Winslow was the perfect one to play Andy? He's a very charismatic child. Well, not child. When I first interviewed him, he was a child. He was adorable, and I was like, "Gosh, this kid has charisma."
That was the main was the main thing. I think it was he had a perfect balance where he needed to be charismatic to for you to believe that okay, I because he could be a dislikable character, like but he has like that charm like Home Alone and all those movies, right? Where like the kid might be a little bit naughty, but you're still rooting for them to do something fun, and that was exactly what Winslow brings, like very charismatic, and he's like an incredible actor. Like he was really amazing to work with, and he can give you all the range because the movie, besides being an action adventure, there's a lot of heart between him and his sister, and I think he was able to bring that very grounded acting.
It's not his first rodeo when it comes to holiday films.
He did, I think, 8-Bit Christmas. Yeah.
The other talent, and you bring us some Latin talent too.
Yes, I was very excited because the roles of the kids were open to anyone, and so we were able to cast really the best kids for the role. Usually when you cast like actors, you have to cast whatever for box office reasons or XYZ. But when you're casting with kids, like really it's like let's find the best people for each role. So Camila, who plays Dulce, she was incredible. And we just thought she had the right balance of being, tough but funny and be vulnerable when she needed to be. And she was truly a special find. And I think her courage is going to grow. And the same thing with the other kids. Like I think Disney, if anything, they're amazing finding the next generation of actors, right? Like everyone, instead of getting nominated for an Oscar or becoming bigger stars and stuff. And I do believe in this cast we have a bunch of them who I hope to get thanked during the Oscar speech as finding them the first time.
I had fun watching the film, and I will confess I don't have kids. So for me, a lot of times watching the kids' films, it's like, okay, how entertaining is this going to be for me as an adult? Is it going to bring me back to being a child, that child in me, right? And this film did bring out the child, and I adored and thank you for bringing a little bit of space, the Los Reyes Magos. That was one of my highlights.
Oh, thank you. That means a lot to me because we were trying to make a movie for everyone, just for the kids are protagonists, but we all love Christmas and the joy. And it was very important for me to also show traditions not only from America but around the world, right? Like if it's Christmas and it brings people together, why was always only American songs or American traditions? So it was very important to me. Hey, well, how about if we, bring Arreborreguito to a Disney Christmas? Why not, right? Like why don't bring what is it, like conchas or so? And I love that Disney was so open for me to explore that side of Christmas that we have never seen before. So it means a lot that it resonated with you because that was our hope.
It did. I did not grow up having a Santa. I grew up with Los Reyes, and that I wrote the letter. I put my shoe outside the window,
Uh-huh.
by the window with my little rolled up letter with what I wanted. So for me, that's my childhood.
That's really cool. Like everyone has a tradition, that so that's cool that you felt identified with it.
Did you by any chance grow up with Los Reyes or just Santa Claus?
I did, but it was like Santa. Well, it was like yeah, it was Santa, and then Los Reyes Magos, but they would bring like small little details, not really like the big present like Santa. It was more of a small gifts, yeah, like a chocolate or something like that.
See, I didn't grow up with Santa because my parents, they said that they would tell me that the Santa Claus was only for the poor kids, and I had them, so they would give me gifts for Christmas, and then I would get gifts from Los Reyes stuff.
That's a good thing, So at least the parents get credit because, otherwise all the kids think is like everything is from Santa, and then the parents keep like that, like small gifts or whatever. So that's a good way to do it.
Growing up, did you ever make it on the naughty list?
No, I was a very well-behaved kid. I was very, very introverted, and I would say like a nerd. So it was, I think it's like too much. Like now they caught me in the middle, but like when growing up, I was very well behaved. So sadly, I was never on the naughty list, but I wish I was.
Talk up to me about the naughty kids and the behavior that people will get to see. Speaking of naughty kids.
Right. I think in this case, like every kid is thinks in their head that they're doing the right thing, but gets them on the naughty list, right? So we have someone who loves animals so much that she, sets one free, which is a good thing, but it's also against the law in a way. Or there's one that like loves riding, like in the snow, and she wins a competition, but like she ends up destroying something from the park. And or so we do have all these characters that they use their power, let's say like their skill, a little bit in a naughty way, not necessarily like in the wrong way, but just not in the best behavior possible. So the lesson they learned through the movie is that power is amazing, and what makes it unique, they shouldn't change it. Instead, they should use it for being off the naughty list and do the right thing. So that was kind of like the exciting thing about me for this movie.
And I like the one character was not naughty, but yet gets dragged into the group. But there's a little twist. What a shock!
Yes, without spoiling it, I don't want to spoil it too much, but yeah, there's this one character who you're rooting for, and then there's a twist, and that was fun. Like when I had a screening, it was interesting because people like gasped. Even I think even when I was reading the script the first time, I was like, oh, I never saw that coming. It's very obvious, but when you're in the movie, you don't think about it until then. You're like, oh, okay, yeah, that's a good lesson to learn.
Like, really, how far would you go to fit in?
Yeah, exactly. Or how during the moment you get pressure to do some stuff that then later you might regret it.
Your work directing, working on a holiday film, is the spirit a little different? Is it more fun, more cheerful, nostalgic?
I think it's more fun and cheerful, and I love doing action sequences and comedy, and this one was a lot of which I love, world building. I think unlike the other movies that is like more grand or anything, here you have to imagine like, oh, how does Santa's sleigh looks in this movie, or how does a village looks in this movie, or how does his room looks in this village. It's like, so we have to create everything from zero, which was the most exciting but also challenging, because I think we have to build, I think it's like 40 something sets. There's like a new set like every 2-3 minutes, so we really have to build this world that also felt consistent and unique, and that was for sure the most I guess challenging in terms of directing. Like, how do we make it feel, and also international. We wanted to again bring that international spirit everywhere, including the sets and the casting and everything like that.
Speaking of sets, which one was your favorite set?
That's a good one. I think the village itself, like we were able to recreate like a good portion. Obviously, the village will be huge, but like we were able to create like 2 or 3 streets, and that was my favorite set, because when you went in, like you really felt it, you were transported to the North Pole. And it was so detailed, like the production designer did an amazing job where you could feel like, oh yeah, people live here. Like I could live here. I want to live here actually. So that was probably my favorite set.
That's the magic of Disney.
Yeah, yes, for sure.
To start wrapping up, you're closing the year with Naughty Nine. What do you have in the works for next year?
Hopefully another sequel. Who knows? It depends on how the movie does. And I do have a show with Amazon that it was being worked before the strike about Loteria, the board game. And it's kind of like going to be like an action adventure where you meet the characters from Loteria becomes a reality, and we're waiting for the writers to finish up, and hopefully it has not been greenlit. It's like it was sold to that through Sony, and then we're just waiting to see if we get picked up or not, and that would be a lot of fun, I think.
Isn't Eugenio Derbez's name on that?
No, that's another project. Funny enough, that's a movie. Yeah.
What am I thinking, Loteria? Okay. It's a
No,
different.
no, you're right. Like he's doing like a movie with Loteria that came after our the announcement, I think. Yeah.
Oh, I see. So they're okay. Wow. Very
Yeah.
popular. It feels nice when you're well from Mexico, Mexico City.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
they're bringing up stuff that's from our roots. It's nice.
It's exciting. Yeah. Finally.
Finally. Well, thank you so much for your time, Alberto. Congratulations. Again, I enjoyed your film and definitely brought out the child in me.
Oh, thank you, thank you. That's it. It's a lot. So
You're
happy
welcome.
holidays. Bye.
Happy holidays. Felices fiestas.
Sí, igualmente.